Welcome. This time we're going to learn about the Model View Controller design pattern. All right. Model View Controller, or MVC, is a pattern that gives us the clean separations between the different parts of our programs. Right. So what are these things? Right. So the model is just simply the data that we're keeping track of in the program. The view is what's shown to the user on the screen. And then the controller is essentially what binds those two things together and is typically things like the user input. Right, so in our example right here, we can see that there's relationships between them, right? So essentially what happens, the user is sitting here, right? They see the view and they want to make a change, right? So they're going to use the controller. Maybe that's as simple as just clicking a button, right? As we saw in our last app. Clicking a button changes the state of the program. So what's saved here? So it's going to change the model. And then the model is used to update the view. And of course, that's going to change what the user sees, right? So this is sort of our general pattern. All right, now in the next program we're going to create, we're going to see that these three things are all going to go in their same, all going to go in separate files, I should say. So Tic Tac Toe, right? We, like the last one, we're going to have both a controller, so main activity, so we're going to have some buttons, some Tic Tac Toe buttons to click. And we're also going to have a view, so sort of what's displayed to the user. And in this case, it's just going to be a layout of a table layout, all right, showing a 3x3 grid. But the model here is a little bit bigger, right? So it's going to have its own Kotlin class that's going to store all the different marks that are stored on the board, so the X's and the O's, and also some methods that we can use to manipulate those different marks, checking for a win, some game logic, some really more interesting stuff. All right, so how does Android support MVC? All right, you remember from our last app, from Hello Button, that it was very much the case that our view was separated out, right? We build this view, we build the layout in our XML file, all right? So that's going to show us what layout, what things are going there, text views, buttons, everything else that's going to be in there is going to be in our view, right? And very separate from the controller, which was done in a Kotlin file. So Android makes this distinction for you and makes it very easy for you to separate out your view and your controller. Now the decision to separate out your model, you're going to do on a case-by-case basis, right? Hello Button was a tiny model, right? 1 int. So we just kind of bundled it together into our main activity Kotlin file. But for many apps, in fact, I'd say most apps that you're going to do, you're going to have enough data to store that you're going to want to put it in its own separate class, particularly if there's a lot of logic that's surrounding how that's going to be updated. All right, so that's our summary. Next time we're going to get into the Tic Tac Toe model and we'll build it out. All right, see you then.